Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Talk Thursday. With us today is attorney Ted Te, an old friend. In December of 2012, oh, he's not old, but he was a friend. In December of 2012, he was appointed spokesman of the Supreme Court. In a thought leader's piece for Rappler, he talked about the meaning of dignified silence in the courts. He joins us today to talk about the challenges facing the Supreme Court under its first female Chief Justice, Maria Lourdes Sereno. Welcome, Ted.
Thank you, Maria. It's good to be back.
It is good to have you here. This time last year, this country was going through the impeachment of a Supreme Court Chief Justice. What's been the impact of on the Supreme Court a year later?
Well, in terms of the Supreme Court as an institution, I think I see that the court itself is functioning. All of the agencies, all of the offices are working. So and it's working, I think, efficiently. And as far as the justices are concerned, the adjudicatory mechanism, they are deciding cases, they are doing their job. So as far as the effect of the impeachment on the court as an institution, I would say it hasn't had that much of an impact in terms of the work that the court itself does. But of course, I think in terms of the effect of the impeachment on people personally,
right.
Well, I'm pretty sure that has an effect, but I can't speak to that. I wouldn't have knowledge of that. But definitely there would have been an effect in terms of how relationships, friendships,
right.
Working relationships would have been affected by the impeachment.
Well, again, this time last year, we were seeing the problems with the justice system. You know, we had a former colleague of yours, Chel Jokno, was talking about the backlog of cases in the justice system, all of the problems that needed to be addressed in the justice system. From where you sit today, how does it look? Well,
it is a reality, and the Chief Justice has admitted that. The justices themselves know that. From my end now, from my point of view now, inside the court, I see and I appreciate the number of cases that each justice has to work with.
Yes.
I can't give you the exact number, but it is staggering. It is a huge amount of cases that they have to deal with. And on a daily basis, new cases come in. So it is a huge problem in terms of, not only in terms of the rate of disposition,
right.
Because I can see that they're deciding cases, they're disposing of cases, they're dismissing cases as fast as they can.
Yes.
But new cases come in, new concerns come in. So to my mind, I think the way out there, the way to address that would be on a systemic level,
yes.
Structurally, put in some measures that would, one, allow only specific types of cases to reach the court, while at the same time not depriving people of their opportunity to go to the court. So I think that's where the court is now. I can't reveal some of the things that they're doing, but they are talking about that. They are discussing that. So yes, there are definite moves towards that, and I'm pretty sure those moves started way before, way before the Chief Justice came in. But I think the reality kicked in,
right.
When the court came under a microscope,
right.
again. So I think there is a conscious effort to do something.
Well, you talked about changes in personality and changes in their lives. Of course, the huge change is now we have a woman leading the Supreme Court. She was the youngest justice, and now she is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Change there.
Oh.
I mean, how does it...
The Supreme Court itself is a very conservative institution. Okay?
Yes.
The legal profession is a conservative institution, and change does not come easily to an institution like the court. So definitely there is an impact of a new Chief Justice who is relatively young and who is also a woman, coming into a role and a position that has been occupied in the past by males of a certain age.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
And of a certain background. The third thing I might add is that the Chief Justice comes from an academic background as well.
Correct.
So there is of course some adjustment that is being done, not only in terms of personalities, because of course there definitely will have to be adjustments in terms of working relationships.
Right.
I wouldn't say friendships, because as far as that's concerned, she's been with the court 2 years before she became Chief Justice.
Right.
But working relationships, definitely, in terms of maybe attention to detail. That's one thing she is good at. I think a lot of people don't realize that. She does pay attention to detail. She looks at certain things and asks about those things. So that might be a change,
Right.
because whereas maybe previous administrators would look at it from a broader point of view and just decide to let the administrative machinery take over. She's micromanaging, I think, on that level, in terms of finding out what's wrong, finding out what can be done better, and finding out what's working, and maintaining what's working. So I've seen that in the times that she's been consulting, she's been asking people about those things.
Well, Rappler has done several stories, reports about factionalism within. I mean, part of it is she's a woman, she was the youngest, now she heads the whole thing. How do you deal with this?
Well, I won't address myself to the factionalism, because
Yes.
that's not part of my role. But definitely, if you were to look at what the court does,
Yes.
the court really is functioning well. If you look at the decisions, they do churn out decisions. They do decide cases,
Yes.
especially on the division level. The division is where a lot of the cases get decided, and they do decide cases. All three divisions are functioning. Okay, and in terms of the en-banc, which meets once a week,
Yes.
and that's where the big ticket cases, the bigger constitutional cases, that's where they get decided.
Yes.
And depending on the case,
Yes.
it does take some time, because if the case isn't ready yet, because there's still some discussion going on, then it won't get promulgated. But from what I can see, from since the time I joined the court, there really are steps to address those things. But it's not a perfect system,
Right.
definitely.
Well, what's
But,
interesting about your role now is you were one of the legal minds who really forced light in. I mean, you were very active. We miss you as a thought leader, by the way. But what made you decide to join the Supreme Court? I mean, to take this job that you have now?
Okay. Maybe partly because I think at some point you have to realize that it's not enough to just talk about it.
To criticize.
It's not enough to
Yeah.
just criticize.
Yeah.
And if there is an opportunity to maybe do something about it, and maybe walk away only after you've tried to do something and maybe failed, or tried to do something and not succeeded as much as you would like to. But at least I think I saw that opportunity, and also because of the length of time that the Chief Justice would stay in office.
18 years.
18 years until she retires. And I think that for me was the opportunity to think big.
Yes.
In terms of reform, in terms of change, in terms of even tweaking the little things that came to light during the years that the court was under the microscope. So I think that was what convinced me that yes, this is an opportunity for me to basically put my money where my mouth was, and say, okay, I've been a very vocal critic of the
You
court.
have. Yes.
I still have a very critical eye towards some of the processes, but of
Right.
course I don't speak about it.
Right.
But I try to I look at it from the point of view of now who's someone who's inside the court now,
Right.
and someone who's appreciating it from that point of view, and seeing if there is a way to change it, a way to tweak it, or if there isn't a need to change it at all.
Right.
And looking at it from that particular context.
You talked about reforms. What are the plans for reforms of the Sereno Court, of you in your position?
There are a lot of plans.
Yes.
I'm not at liberty
Oh,
right
don't
now.
tell me you can't
right
tell
now,
me.
right now to tell you everything.
Okay.
Everything. But definitely, we're headed towards a court that will be less reliant on paper.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of filing of petitions, documents, motions, for the first time, the Supreme Court has an email address wherein lawyers can actually file petitions using the email address.
For the first time.
For the first time, yes.
Okay, interesting.
And there are pilot projects that will be done with certain courts designated as pilot courts.
Yes.
So that's going to be, I think, one big thing. And I know that there is a move towards streamlining jurisprudence, making jurisprudence more stable, meaning the decisions of the court must not contradict themselves.
Correct.
Okay? The
Oh, that's a
decisions of the
major-
court
yeah.
must also be stable in the sense of they must be predictable. Until they are changed by the court, they must be clear. They must be predictable. So I think there is a move
Was
towards
there
that.
no mechanism in place
Well,
before?
There was a mechanism in place before, but I think the number of cases that come in,
Yes.
and sometimes because the cases that come in, and there's just so many, sometimes one decides
Yeah.
one
Yes.
case and another decides another petition, and you just don't get the opportunity to weave them together and say, hey, this is the same thing actually.
Yes.
You know, and because and also if litigants feel the need to go
see.
up to the court every time,
Right.
then you have a problem.
I see.